And we're going. Okay, it's been a while since I've done one of these, actually. We're recording this in July, but this is going to be coming out in November. Um, I probably haven't done a podcast since like April, though. So I'm really shaky with the introduction. I've been so busy with work. But here we are. This is for there's a couple big things. Sarah's fourth album came out, Vertigo, as well as the second feature film from Jarrod Van Hauen called Knock, which Sarah's also in. I am too. You also just did a cameo for my fourth film, 11:37 p.m. Thank you for doing that. So yeah, I figured it would be cool to do a podcast to kind of talk about the projects because there's so many.
There is so many.
yeah, it's been a busy year. So how? Okay, so your fourth album's called Vertigo. I haven't heard it yet because we're recording this in July. I am excited to hear it though. So the first
I love
single.
how blunt you are with that because you're just like so honest. You could have just said we're not recording this in July and just like fooled the entire audience. But I guess like
Oh yeah. Well, I forgot too. We're recording audio. See, I'm wearing a tank top right now, so I was thinking if we were filming the video, I was thinking people are going to see the tank top and know it's like summer. But yeah, I could have. But yeah. So the first single is the only one that I've heard, which is Monday and Monday. Um, how did okay? So what's your favorite song from the project?
um for me it always changes, especially when it's like a new album because there's songs that I like some days and songs on other days where I where I'm just like there's this one's better or this one's feeling me because it's an album where there's a lot of different components to it where it's just like it depends on how you're feeling at the time per se. Um, for me, I guess I really liked the song Kings and Queens. That's one of my favorite because it's a very blunt and honest song, speaking about like the hierarchy in society and how people ride the coattails of certain people for fame or money or whatnot, and it's kind of speaking to that and how a lot of people in the hierarchy don't um, always consider people of minority groups or they forget about certain people, and it's a very experimental dance song. I would find it has the most interesting instrumental, and it's just very different. It's very, very different from any pop song, and it's not very different from anything I've done previously. And the producer, he has an eye for keeping things fresh and creating something new. It was done by producer Astoria Boulevard, and they do a more like alternative pop sound. So that's probably the one that I guess I go back to the most. I don't know if that would be my favorite, but that one lyrically connects with me in a lot of ways. Followed by Black Rainbow, which was kind of like the sequel to that in a way, and it comes right after Kings and Queens, and it's done by the same person too.
Track listing is very important. A lot of people mess up with track listing when they do albums. So
They do,
yes,
they do. No,
yes,
to me, I'm heavily if when I have the control to do it, I
yeah,
do have it in a specific order for the most part.
yeah.
Whereas like my first album actually I did have a lot of say in the track listing, so it's the most systematic one.
Oh, okay,
And um this one it was also kind of like in the same way too. It tells a story.
okay.
And I think even more so I had more say here this time around.
I bet it's fun to be able to do that, not have anyone over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice when you have control over your music and your sound, and you actually get to choose the sound for once. But it's definitely a step up, and it's definitely something I truthfully enjoy. And I think a lot of people can see that this sound is very me and very something I would do, and that whole vibe and energy. That's what everyone has said at least about Mundane Mondays.
Monday was very trying to think of the best way to word it. Unique. It felt
Yeah.
it felt very much like an independent record, which was made it even more unique. Um, you said you shopped it around too to a lot of like radio companies, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. A
And
few
it's I
radio
and
stations in the
like
world have
you I
taken.
I'm sorry. You can go.
Wait, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Like I watched the music video, but I forgot what it was until just before we started this podcast. So I went back to revisit it, and I didn't like. It's crazy that thing had like 11,000 views now.
Yeah, it's going well, I think, with the campaign for it. It's my most streamed song on Spotify. It's
Yeah.
almost at 40,000
Jeez, that's
as of
crazy.
now.
Well, congrats then. That's crazy.
Thank you. Yeah, it's because it's been getting a lot of radio play as well. I've sent it to multiple independent radio stations, mainly the ones in Canada, US, and Germany has been playing it on radio quite a bit. That was the stats I got. That was where people are playing it most, which is always nice having that European audience
Yeah,
catching on to it.
definitely.
Actually, before it was more Russia, Thailand, and Taiwan and Japan. Those four places played my stuff a lot as well. So it's cool having the international connection and people from all around the world checking out my music and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy because it really is. I don't even know how to explain it other than just unique. It's got such a niche, that it fits into. It sounded nothing like any of the other stuff that you've made before. So it is really cool.
Thank you. That's what I try to do. I actually wanted to make something that was very timeless.
Yeah,
That could be
yeah,
played.
that's a good way to explain it too.
Yeah, and that was the idea behind it. I was like, I wanted to make a timeless song, and actually, I've had that song. That song was originally recorded in 2019 and was going to be the lead single to my third album originally.
Oh, really?
And it has quite a long history. That was done. So that was August 2019. I was halfway through the promotional campaign of my second album at that time. And then actually a week before COVID hit, I had a whole music video planned out with a different director, cinematographer. There was a whole different narrative to the music video beforehand that was going to be shot in 2020. And then COVID hit and everything shut down and we couldn't go to the studio to record it. So I feel like things happen for a reason. And then that whole there was a whole before there was another version of Vertigo that has 12 other songs. Actually, there's probably more recorded. Usually when I record an album, I record about 20 to 30 songs, but only 12 to 16 make the cut. And there's a whole other version of Vertigo that nobody has heard. And I don't know if they will ever hear of that album, but then what I did recently, and that was before COVID. And I'm actually glad I never released that version because I think what I've made in the past couple months with the new executive producer is better. And this is when I was still on Arctic and on a different label at the time. So it was kind of had a more mainstream direction to it.
Yeah.
Whereas now, so it had, but I did like what I was doing at the time. I didn't have an issue with it. It's just when COVID hit, that got shelved. And I was like, this work is too good to be done during COVID. I want to release it when it's free. So that's when the third album came about. And then I did that just as something to finish up my contract with that label at the time.
Well, yeah.
And then I moved to recording this album afterwards. And I started doing that in fall of 2021. And we recorded a whole different version of this album.
That's crazy. You could release a ton of deluxe projects.
What? Sorry?
You could release a ton of deluxe projects, like deluxe editions.
I could. Actually, there will be deluxe editions if you get it on CD, vinyl, and different international versions of the album. There's gems. There's hidden gems and stuff.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That is really cool.
And I might be releasing a compilation album eventually. So there's lots of songs with that goes with that. And it's just crazy that Monday and a few other songs that are on the final version have just such a long history to them that people think were recorded in the last year, but they were actually recorded 4 years ago.
I never would have guessed that with Monday.
but it goes to show you how timeless it is because it could have been released at any time, really, like
Yeah,
any
yeah.
decade. Like my friend River Weston, who's a music artist as well, LGBTQ music artist who I adore and love, and he has amazing music. I recommend him as a guest, by the way.
Oh,
And
okay.
he,
Yeah, definitely. You should send me his contact info.
yeah, and he's very interesting as well, and he has an interesting style to him. It's more of like a male Lana Del Rey style he has to him, and I just adore his style in general. But he told me that he thought the song was very like '90s house, and this could have been released in the '90s, which was very interesting to me. So as well.
Yeah, it definitely does have that unique. Like I'm not good with putting a genre on things, but it does have a very unique sound to it. So yeah, it was cool to see that one and hear it because I wasn't expecting it. It came out of the blue. Um,
Really,
yeah, yeah, I was
what
expecting
what were you expecting?
more
If
like the third album. I was expecting kind of built off of that. I'm
okay,
trying to think of the titles of your albums. I the first what would the third one be? Is it Rainbow something?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
what's it
that one.
called? Rainbow what?
I was about to say Rainbow Road, and I'm not. Okay, actually, my friend has a joke about that. He loves that album, by the way, and he always calls it Rainbow Road. And I know it's not Rainbow.
Rainbow
Okay,
Rhythm.
wait.
Rhythm.
Okay, yeah, that one. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
I.
expecting something more to be kind of like that, kind of like a part two to that, and then it sounded nothing like that to me at least. Which I don't mind. Like Monday is probably is I would say my favorite thing that you've put out so far.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
That's what
definitely.
most people have said, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it just sounds like a lot of growth. So that's definitely something. Like Kendrick Lamar's last album, it sounded like a lot of growth, which was the last album on his record label, and this is your first album out of your record label. So it's kind of interesting how that works.
Yeah, yeah, and it's actually crazy because that you. It's funny you say that because I feel it would have been done differently if it was on the label I was previously. The promotion would have been different. Maybe maybe I don't know. Like it could have been even like better promoted in some ways, but it also could have taken a different direction of how the album would have went. I feel, but it was going to literally be released by that label, but it. But the thing is, it was just COVID that put a wrench in that, and I was like, I want to wait on this because I knew it was too good to be released then, just because of COVID, and I didn't want to do like a COVID music video because I
Yeah,
did a few of those for the last album, and I don't feel like this song had needed that treatment. I felt it deserved more. I
yeah,
believed in
something on
it,
a
and
wider
it's my
scale.
favorite song. It's probably my favorite song I've ever released.
Yeah, yeah, it is a really good song. Yeah, I definitely get that with the whole COVID thing. When COVID hit, we were doing the second season of Chapters, and we got 4 episodes done, and they were supposed to be 10, so I had to do 6 of them solo. Um,
Oh,
yep. So when it came time for that third one, it's like I want to work with as many people as I possibly can.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how many people do you have in like that show in general?
Well, see, that's an anthology, so it depends.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I
every
see.
episode can be different, but yeah, it like the last season, every other episode was a specific director, and I directed every other episode, but then there was a guest director every other. Um, if that makes sense, the way I worded
Yeah,
that
that
was
makes
weird.
sense.
Yeah, yep,
Well,
and
you have to be careful with that in that situation when it was COVID. Like everyone was like super like they had to watch like what how many people they had. There was a limit to that.
yeah,
Even like
yep,
just in
yep,
general, bringing people over to your house would be
yeah.
like limiting. So you couldn't really have a ton of people.
Yeah, and that's why that second season of Chapters, it was really all just it was just me acting, directing, writing, editing.
How did you feel about that? Like just doing it solo? Like how do
It
you
was
actually feel about those like episodes and everything?
it was fun. It was I see a lot of them turned out a lot better than I thought they would. When you're first kind of
That's good.
sitting there thinking about it, but in the like when it came time, like I said, to do that third one, it's like I do not want to do that for a long time ever again. It's a lot of work. and you're exhausted. And yeah, the only one that I really didn't like was the last episode of season 2 of Chapters because I had a huge plan for it, and then COVID really fucked that up. But
Oh, you got COVID?
no, I didn't get COVID, but COVID fucked
Oh,
up
that's
like
good.
us filming it and everything because that one was gonna be like super good. But yeah,
Oh no.
yeah, and I can't even really go back and redo it because it had to be in that season because that season is there's a very uh, I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. It's set up to be that season. There's no you can't move anything around. It all has a theme and it all connects, kind of like an album.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
totally makes sense because it is, like you said, it's like an anthology series, so it's
yeah,
like it has to be a certain way, and that's actually really hard
yeah,
because, like, especially the worst time to do an anthology series, noted, is that don't do it during COVID. If
yeah.
you were doing one during COVID, your whole series got fucked up.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, and especially with chapters because we haven't been trying to make that like Twilight Zone. I love Twilight Zone,
Oh,
but
cool.
you don't want it to just be like that all the time. You want it to have themes and certain seasons to have certain high points, and
And interrelations.
yeah. Otherwise, it just gets old, old, old. But yeah, now we're talking about a show that you haven't even been on yet. If you even will, we don't know. I know I mentioned it to you, but we'll see about schedules and whatnot. But
We'll see about that.
yeah, definitely.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, well, and this year's been crazy too. So like, I'm definitely gonna be taking a break after we get done with the next movie.
Oh,
But
after Knock?
no, not Knock. We have one more coming out the week after that I still have to get footage
Oh.
for and whatnot too. Yeah, my buddy wrote that. His name is Ron Gomes. He's a really good script writer. We were originally going to do 4 films in November, but 4 is way too much.
Yeah.
Like that fourth. I mean, if I hadn't broke my toe, it might have been possible. But
Oh no, yeah. The
yeah,
toe thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
the toe thing set me back quite a bit.
Are you like better with it now? Because I know it was like bad a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's all good now. It still gets sore, and whatnot. I keep stubbing it and making it worse, but it's not bad at all now. So. They said it's basically almost all the way healed. So,
Yeah, that's
but
good. That's good. At
but
least it's healing.
yeah, some of what I filmed for Knock, like a large amount of it, I had a broken toe for, and my character didn't have a broken toe. So, yeah, that.
See, it's funny because my character was like sitting on the floor the entire time. So you would have been better as like my character
Yeah, I
because it would have
know.
been like you could have just sat there the entire time.
Yeah, and there was one scene that I think out of like all the stuff I filmed, there was maybe one scene where I actually was like sitting down, like on the floor. And even then, I had to like reach as far as I could to move the camera because I didn't want to get up, because my toe was kind of giving me some pain, and I had to hide the brace out of the frame.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like sliding across the floor like a little penguin to move the
Oh
camera.
my god.
Yeah, yeah, but
That's professionalism for you. That is
yeah.
real professionalism in the real world. Like there are times where you have like injuries or you're sick and you still have to do the thing and you still have to like play it off
Oh
as best
yeah.
as possible.
Well, yeah. When I was in high school, we were making a film called Bond versus Batman, and the guy that was playing Batman one day showed up, and he had a broken leg, and
Oh my
we
god.
just kind of wrote it into the movie, and you just try to have fun with it, even though it's broken still and whatnot. But it
Batman
changes.
being having a broken leg. That
It,
is, I don't know how that would turn out,
yeah,
but
yeah. Well, it was already like it's a comedy on the concept, so
oh, okay,
yeah,
I get it.
it's not like it's
I was like,
really
if
a
this
ton
was
of
for a
action, but
drama, that would be so like that'd be
oh
so
yeah,
off-putting.
yeah. Well, like the drama in that was like you know Bond is hanging off the side of a building, and it's really intense, and then the camera moves away and his feet are only like a couple feet off the ground, and he's
Oh my
actually not in
god,
peril. That's the idea of drama in there. It's all
that's so
comedy.
funny.
Yeah, it's got a scary movie type of vibe to it. What was the inspiration for Vertigo, your 4th album?
The inspiration was actually just like me trying to like get away from fears. Like, in general, that's the whole idea. It's about like, overcoming a lot of fears in general, and overcoming and being open to saying things and putting myself out in the world in a way. And that's kind of the concept behind the whole idea of being vertigo, is pretty much walking in an area that where you have completely blurry vision because you don't know your surroundings, and trying to conquer it pretty much. And that's how the album goes throughout. That's like what I was going for. It has like an Anderson Peak sort of vibe to
Oh,
it.
okay.
Um, Also a bit of Kylie Minogue in it as well, and Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, like
Yeah.
I love Frank Ocean in general, so
Frank
it's
Ocean
like
is good.
Frank Ocean always inspires me in like some form. He somehow gets intricated into my work.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, I feel that way about Martin Scorsese and a ton of filmmakers. There's a ton of them. I see. I've been saying Anderson Paak's name wrong, I suppose.
I mean, I could be saying it wrong too, but I know his work.
Yeah, you said it, and I was like, shit. I feel like an idiot, but yeah, I'm not sure how you say it, but yeah, he is great too. So I'm really excited to hear this album. Just a reminder for people listening, I haven't heard it yet.
I feel like I should have just said it to you. Well, actually, it's not even at this point. It's not even like done, finalized, or anything. There's only like half the songs finalized. So.
Oh, really? So you're that you don't have like I don't know. I always imagine when an artist is working on an album that they just kind of have it sitting around, and then uh, that's when they start making the music videos and promoting it and whatnot. Am I a little off course on that?
Okay, honestly, I filmed a bunch of music videos back in March. I filmed about multiple different ones. And then so I got it done beforehand, a lot of it. So I got those songs were done beforehand. And then it's been sitting around pretty much.
Oh,
It just
okay.
needs to be finalized. That's all it is. It needs to be processed properly. And we need to get what vocal takes we're going to take the most,
Yeah.
put it together. But it's recorded. It's done. That's all done.
Oh,
It just
okay.
needs to be finalized pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I guess I can kind of relate because my fourth film, which will be coming out shortly before this podcast comes out, like it's all recorded, it's all edited, but I just need to go through and make sure that like there's no mistakes before I upload it. So it is also just kind
Oh
of
my
sitting
god.
around, and it has been
Yeah.
ever since you sent me that voiceover. You were the last piece to that puzzle. Was that
Oh yay.
voiceover? Yep. Which is no problem at all. It was. See, I wasn't expecting to film that movie as fast as I did, but I did it when I was unemployed at the start of the year. Um, I quit smoking nicotine, and then I was watching
Oh, that's good.
a video for The Weeknd's Gasoline. I don't know if you've heard
Yeah.
the song or seen the video, but just seeing the video and being like a couple days without nicotine, I was like, oh, I have an idea for a fourth film. And so I just kind of started filming it almost right away, right then and there. Before a script was even like fully put together, I had an idea for the film, but um, it was mostly in my head at first. So that one
That's
was a
how it
real,
always comes about, right? It just like starts in your head, and then you see something, and then you're like,
yeah,
I need to make something like this, or that's
yeah.
gonna take off from this.
But see, typically I'll write the script first. But in this case, I was like, it was so in the moment that I just wanted to film it right away. And
How? So wait, did you just do improv then, like for the most part, or
there was see it's a movie that's about like a bunch of nightmares and dream sequences. So
yeah?
there was a lot of scenes that I did, and then what I did was I just kind of had it in my head, the idea for the scene. I do it, and then I just write it in the script, as best as I could without, say, oh, it's about 30 seconds long, and then I try to write half a page of script material to fit the scene that I filmed, so that way I could get an actual gauge on how long the film was going to be. And I think it ended up being 54 minutes, which isn't long, but we we haven't been making films over an hour the last couple of years, and I think COVID's a huge impact on that too, because
Yeah.
we're not able to really, go out and do as much as we want to with as many people as we want to. So we're trying to keep roles really tight knit and whatnot. But hopefully in the next year or two we can start like next year. I'm hoping that I can do a horror anthology movie that's well over an hour.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping my next project is. Hopefully. Speaking of next projects, I'm kind of going a little off of the route here for questions, but actually, you might not have written this one for a suggestion of what I should ask you, but what do you think you're gonna do in terms of acting after Knock?
I honestly would love to. I think I'm actually working on like independent films myself, some ideas, and I might actually continue in this like. I kind of really like this horror genre.
Oh, horror's
In a way,
fun.
I
Horror's
really
super fun.
enjoyed like filming Knock and actually breaking out into something totally different than what I was doing before. And with that, saying that, like I have done like sort of horror. No, not horror. I would say I did a guest spot on a show called Whispers of Death years ago, and this was like probably this would be close to 10 years now. Actually,
Jeez,
now
that's
that I think
crazy.
about it, but um, that was more of like a supernatural fantasy show. But I was playing a villain in it some way, and it was fun to play that role because this was in the peak of Arctic, and it was nice to just take. I just did a week of that. It was just for one episode, and it was really fun to do that sort of thing. So, and just coming to Knock, it was really cool to break out into something that I haven't done much of, and I would like to do more of, truthfully. And I do have some ideas in mind.
Well, I'm excited to see what you come up with. But if you're ever at a point where you want to, be in more roles or whatever and collaborate further, we're always going to be working on stuff. So you're always welcome. Um,
Oh, thank you so
yeah,
much.
definitely. Like, I'd love at the very least to like at some point in the near future tell you the horror anthology and the stories within, because I think they're super cool. Um,
Yeah, that would be so cool.
yeah, and how I've been doing that one is like I've been trying to let the ideas come to me naturally instead of forcing myself to think of horror films to fill out the script. So I get the best content and only the best in that. You mentioned briefly transitioning from Arctic to Knock. Is there more that you want to add to that topic? Do you want to talk about that
Um,
further?
well, it's honestly like transitioning from them because Arctic's comedy, right? So it's very
Yeah,
satirical comedy
and
where it's lighthearted.
it's also aimed for children. It's a kids audience. Young adult audience, as opposed to Knock.
When you said when you said, well, I do see what you're saying with the kid audience. For me,
Yeah,
that always felt like in the beginning, honestly, it wasn't really meant for kids. It was meant for teens and
yeah,
kids more for
that's what
8 and
I
up.
meant. I don't, I just said,
Okay.
yeah,
I was like, I
yeah,
don't think it's meant for little.
yeah.
I think it
I
can be a
I
little too
was
much for little kids. But as
stumbled
we
on my words.
continued, like later on in the series, um, that network changed its. They put in new rules of where you can say things and not say things. Whereas like in the beginning, it was more risque. Like you could we had there. I remember an episode where we had a condom joke and it got removed and it was so funny, but we did a lot more heavy risky things, and I don't know if it was because of the episode where people there was when we had the church complain about one of our episodes because of the content itself. That's when the rules, I noticed, began to change for that series, and then it became more family friendly. But overall, I don't think it was meant for little kids, but ever.
Yeah,
But it was kind of like it was weird because it was like going from comedy, which is like very lighthearted and stuff like that, to going to more of like a horror genre thing.
yeah, which
And
is very not
that was
lighthearted.
kind of like a whole switch out. Like that was completely different. So I had to bring a whole different perspective for that because I haven't done that since like high school. Like those types. No, actually, that's not true. I did have that one
Oh,
guest
that.
spot.
Yeah, the week that you took to film that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So, and that was fun, and I wanted to do more of that always. So it was nice to just jump into that and explore that more. But I did have training in that, doing that sort of thing, though, as well.
It can also be very exhausting too, especially with Knock. There was, like the character I played was very demented, so it was difficult at times to convey that type of, uh, you know, manner that he was trying to convey.
Well, it's kind of like it's. Would you say it's a sociopathic manner?
Yeah, I would say sociopathic, but he's also very psychopathic because he does get very he's aggressive on top of his heavy manipulation. So I see a
Yeah.
little bit of both scattered in him, but like you notice how I just said it was hard for me to convey the manner that he was trying to convey. I say that because he was always trying to manipulate someone else. Um, I wrote the script obviously, and that's how I pictured him. Was he's
Yeah.
someone that's always trying to get what he wants out of a situation, and he's very manipulative, kind of like Walter White, but to the umpteenth degree.
Yeah, it's actually so haunting. Like it's actually like I like you just telling that gave me like spooked me a little. So
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now because it is actually really haunting when you think about it because
yeah, and
he plays the game really well of like trying to be manipulative and
yeah,
trying to like twist and turn the situation into whatever he pleases, and he thinks that the other person, so my character felt like she was like 10 steps ahead. I felt in a way
yes,
where she was tricking him into that,
yep,
but he really was 10 steps, he was like he was 20 steps ahead of her.
yep,
He
yep.
upped it one, and that's how that's how what happened to her happened.
Yep, and I just noticed we keep talking as if this is coming out before the film comes out, but this is going to be coming out after the film comes out.
Okay, I'm like trying to like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
say
I
how
just
it ends,
I
but also
realized
this
I've been
could be
like that
good for
too.
people who haven't listened
Yeah,
to
that's true. I
yeah.
suppose
So I don't want to spoil
also
it for anyone.
in case this is their first time hearing of the film, we probably shouldn't spoil it. I suppose is also a good point, but because like the whole film's gonna have a promotional campaign, and this might be like what someone catches onto for the campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think what I was just going to say. Um, Geez, it was something relating to the movie and what we were talking about, how he's a sociopath and a psychopath. Ahead of the game. Oh yeah. Okay, so like the whole purpose behind like the message that this film conveys, I really wanted people to walk away being like, that's really fucked up. That's something that happens in the world, and
Yeah.
how the movie ends with him going about his life and he doesn't get there's no repercussions. It's a process that starts over and over and over and over and over again. I wanted that to resonate with people because they're like, well, for one, people are always doing the same thing over and over again. Not too many people
Yeah.
reflect and change, but also you put two and two together, that on top of he's a sociopath and a psychopath, this killer and this horrible person, and he's still doing the same thing and there's no repercussions. I really wanted that to be something that people walked away with.
It you know what, it reminds me of the Zodiac killer in a way.
Yes, yes.
Where he just keeps getting away with the same thing
Yep.
over and over and never actually getting caught. Like that's
Yep.
the type of vibe it really gave me.
See, I love the Zodiac movie from David Fincher, and that was a huge inspiration for this movie. I rewatched it shortly before I came up with it. Actually, ironically enough, I think I might have been watching that movie when I got the seeds for this idea.
Oh,
see,
I could see that. I could definitely see that. But that's a great movie.
Yeah,
that's a great. I watched.
It is.
I remember watching that in like, um, It was actually in science class in grade 10 that I watched it.
Oh, in
And
school?
yeah, in school, that's when I first watched it, and I was like, it really changed my perspective on like how people can really get away with anything and
Yeah.
they can keep doing that, and that's a very common thing.
See, it sucks and it's kind of funny at the same time because the only reason I ever saw that Zodiac movie, I'm sure I would have by now if it weren't for this, but I was probably 10 or so, and I heard about the Zodiac killer, read about him, and I was like, that
Yeah.
sounds like a very good movie. I want to make a movie about him. And then I found out there was a movie about him that came out like 3 years
Oh,
prior, and I was like, well, okay, that sucks, but I'll check it out, and I loved it. It's a great movie. David Fincher is also one of those directors who really inspires me. He also made The Social Network, which is a great movie too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Curious Case of Benjamin Button. He goes all out. Gone Girl was pretty good. You know, I haven't heard much about his recent films, but he's great
Yeah.
too. And so I'm glad that that's something that people can hopefully relate the film to as the Zodiac Killer. You know, I'm
I
not.
feel I feel I could see that connection.
Yeah, I'm not happy that it makes people think of that. Something that dark, but
I think it's a good thing because it like really it shows that you're getting the essence of that in some way. I What I really like about the film is that it ends on not it being like all happy, like it's on a real cold level.
yeah, yep,
So, and that's what I think the takeaway is from it is that you don't, see like a truthfully happy ending. It's very, and it makes it more, even more like what happens to this guy and stuff.
yep.
And I think those are some of the best type of movies, truthfully.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. The happy ending's never really that believable. It's not very
No.
realistic. Yeah, and I feel like it's definitely I kind of already went over this, but it really sets the idea, at least I hope it does, in the viewer's head that, this is someone that's going to continuously be doing this, and that should make people feel a little worried, and because that happens in our real world,
Right.
and it's like messed up. And
I love how that's the motive. It's like let's make people feel
I
worried.
yeah, yep. Yeah, not like I'm trying to be a dick with the statement or anything, but
No.
I definitely do feel like I don't know. I don't know how to word it, I guess, but just be worried. be,
Okay.
be cautious, to anyone listening.
Okay. That's what we're gonna go by, I guess.
That's the tagline for the film. Now, from this point forward in the marketing, that's the tagline. Be
Okay.
cautious.
I will keep that in mind.
Okay. Before we go on with anything else, do you want to say anything more about? Sorry, I'm very tired right now. Vertigo, your fourth album, or do you feel like we covered that?
Um.
So we got. Oh, Pray for Another Day and Voodoo Doll. You might want to talk about them.
Okay. Yeah. So like, "Pray for Another Day" is like the second single from the album,
Yes, I'm looking forward
and
to hearing about that. I haven't heard it yet.
it's probably the most story driven song I've done. So it
Ooh, okay.
definitely is definitely connected towards me and how um, you're loved by your like higher spiritual being in some way, no matter what, and no matter what people say. But also sometimes being put in that position, you can be kind of like a lone ranger in a way. So, and sometimes that's how I feel. Like I think it's probably the most personal song I've like written. So it's and we did a music video for it that was so fun. I was dancing on a pole in in that video. It was supposed to be like a cross, but it was like it looks like a pole. So I it was that was really hard to do, but I was like swinging on it, and it was honestly only like it was shorter than me the pole too, so I had to like crouch down and swing on it and everything. But it's a very story driven music video that was all done in the same place where Monday was done, and it was directed and filmed by the executive producer who did the music video for Monday, but also the entire album. Angela Sunyu Lee. And she's one of my friends that was from school, and that's how we got in. And she helped me bring Vertigo to the next level. And she's actually not like a music producer; she's a sound artist. She was in the Mad T department, media arts department, and so she specializes in like abstract sound work and everything, and that specifically ties into culture. So that's why she was interested in working with me, and it was my first time working with a female executive, which is very different than working with a male executive for a music project in a way.
Oh, I'm sure. I can only imagine. Their whole introspective nature of the album would probably be a lot different.
It is.
Yeah.
And she's
males would be
also
more aggressive, I would feel like.
Sorry?
A males would probably be like more aggressive, like their tone of the album. Yeah, yeah.
That there's more butting heads in that.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
So it was different, and she had some really good ideas, like some interesting ideas that when we were recording, I like had made the takes even better, and she like took it in a way where I wasn't like sure where this was going sometimes. I'll be honest, but then I understood what she was saying
after you got to the point that she was trying to lead you to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of really good artists are like that. It's crazy.
They are.
Yeah. Yep. And you can keep going. You can keep going.
And like it was cool because she, like I said, it was interesting working with her because she was also not someone that was her profession wasn't music. It was sound artist, which is a different situation. So her work would fit more so in like an art museum gallery.
Yeah.
Rather than the mainstream music industry.
Yeah.
In a way. So, and I think she fit the vibe really well, and she really liked all the songs we recorded. And it was fun. It was actually the most fun I had recording an album, to be truthfully, because we got to go for lunch and everything together, and because we were friends prior to doing this project for like a few years, so it was very comfortable. But it was cool to see her like artistic perspective come into play, because she just has such a unique perspective that I think the world should see it. And I hope she can, and now she's in Toronto, and I hope she continues working in music or somewhere in that field. I think she will be doing that, and her and I might do some more projects together and everything. We're looking maybe even in films and stuff. So, and she gets the whole cultural aspect because she's Korean herself. So so that's why she understands where I'm coming from in terms of like minorities and talking about those in terms of the subject matter of what I'm doing. And her favorite song off of this album was Voodoo Doll. So she was like really loving that song. Like that was her favorite. And you really see her uniqueness in that, because that is such a unique song that stems from the realms of J-rock and pop rock and stuff like that. That was the inspiration behind that. So it's very, it has an international vibe but also a very experimental vibe to it. And it's very, I could see why that was her favorite. And I kind of knew that was going to be her favorite going in, because
it's unique.
It's unique, and it's very her vibe.
And that's the one that, I mean, plans might change, but you said earlier that's the one that you were planning on just doing live?
Live, but it will be a bonus track. But it might change. I don't know.
Too. Okay. Yeah, but it
might be on international editions of it. It's a true gem. So.
Okay, I'm really excited to hear these. I really am. I don't want to ask because I don't want you to get mad, but I didn't know if you like when the album was coming out. You said like what, September was it, or October? October. Okay, I'm excited for it. I'm excited. Yeah, hopefully the album and Knock will both have, healthy lives as projects. I
love how you say it like that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the latter part of this year with everything coming out. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about the album?
Anything else?
Yes.
I think it's just very different from what I've done before, but it still has elements of what I've done before. It's just um, more of an independent, experimental reach in a way, but not too experimental. I definitely think it fits into mainstream music somehow, but it's definitely a true treasure, and I'm glad it's in my music catalog.
I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
I'm so excited for you to hear it.
and the way you just described it, kind of circling back to Knock. Um, so first off, before I make the statement, you really pursued. Well, you put it in me to pursue lighting in this film a lot more than I usually do,
Yeah.
which was fun. And it's really nice to know those tricks. I also wanted from the get go for this to be. I'll move you with a lot of sound effects because
Okay.
this is where this circles back to what you were saying about Vertigo. Jarrod Van Hauen's first film, the director of Knock, his
Yeah.
first film, Death My Darling, was entirely silent almost. There was,
Oh, okay.
yeah, see, there was soundtracks, score made for every single scene. I made the score for that film. Um, and but when it came to actual sound effects and talking, there was very minimal. I think there was only like 3 lines throughout that whole movie, maybe a little more, maybe even less though. And so with this one, I wanted it to be different. That was the plan right away, because Jared's like a brother of mine, so I'm really trying to fit a very good producer mold and help him see
Yeah.
through the visions. Um, I've written both of his movies so far. I don't know what we're gonna do yet with the third film. If I'm gonna help him or if he's gonna go solo with it. But either way, I hope to continue helping him. But you know, uh, I don't know really where I was getting with this. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about that. How that there's definitely a difference between this one and the one that preceded it. In terms of the sound effects here are what we're focused on as opposed to the score. Um,
That's interesting. I don't know.
yeah,
I didn't. I don't know. I'm like have no idea what to expect when you say sound effects because I'm like.
yeah. Well, see, that's the whole idea of the knock.
Mm,
Is it's just a simple sound effect that carries so much weight every time you hear it throughout the film. Um,
that's true.
yeah, and I just mean sound effects like everything is toned up a huge notch. A door opening or footsteps. Everything's really keyed in on, and there's no background score, which, in my opinion, makes things a lot more unsettling.
Oh, I see.
Um,
So you're like taking out the score to.
yeah, there's
Um,
there's some scenes with a score, but 99% of them were scripted in to have a score.
and
Um,
that makes it more horrific because you're listening to
yes,
blank space. Then.
yes, and there's a very good episode of The Walking Dead. I think it's the final episode of season 4 where there's a scene. It might be the mid-season final episode of season 4 where there's a scene where there's all these zombies walking, and the music takes so long to kick in that by the time it
Yeah.
kicks in, you don't even notice the music starts. At least I didn't, and I thought it was so weird that they didn't have music going because you just heard the zombies walking and making their
Yeah.
zombie call, and it's great. It adds a whole other element to films. So I'm really excited in that aspect, in that regard. We had somebody come on for uh, the music score for not only Knock but also my fourth film. His name is Piero D'Agostino. I don't even know where he's from, honestly, but he's very good with making very unique music that is scores for
Yeah.
films and stuff. And so this is the only the second time that I have not made the music for a film, following my fourth film, which was the first film of ours in November. So shout out to him for
Yeah.
you know. Knock has been a lot of people helping out though, for real. Uh,
That's really good.
yeah, it's really fun. It's been a lot of fun, and editing it has been super fun too. I'm excited to see your second scene because you just uploaded it right before we started filming.
I actually thought you already saw it because you said something about it. I thought, but now it's like uploaded now.
Oh, okay, perfect. No, I haven't seen that one yet. No, because I I think you were gonna upload it to Google Drive, your personal
I
one.
actually did upload it to my old Google Drive, but then you wanted me to re-upload it to this.
Oh, okay. Yep. See, I
So it
hadn't
was
seen
uploaded
it.
there. So
I hadn't seen it. I don't know if you sent it to me and I just didn't get the message or what. But yeah,
by the way, that Google Drive is filled up now. So the
yeah.
not
And that's the one for the movie.
you have a one for the movie.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll figure it
Because
out.
it's a 7 gig file. And
Oh
then the
yeah,
movie posters are huge as well. Like
yeah.
they're because I put the Photoshop files. So if you wanted to like
Oh yeah,
look
definitely.
and see how that's done as well, I put that in there.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I'll take care of the storage if we need to.
Okay, that
Yeah,
sounds good.
definitely before the third scene. Yeah, but
Because I'm gonna have like a third scene, and I'm gonna have a fourth scene, and I'm gonna need to like figure that those are probably they're not gonna be as big. Like I think I got the biggest portion of the movie done. It's now
yeah,
just the end parts now. I think, which is which should be good.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing your scenes and then editing that all together. And then after that, I think there's just two, maybe three more actors that I need to get to film their scenes really quick, which I will be doing by the end of July. Yeah,
Okay,
yep. So I'm super excited for this. Yeah, I'm just kind of rambling right now. I don't really know. Let me go over
I'm
the list
excited.
real quick. Yeah, I am too. Well, oh, here's a good one. Oh, okay. This is what I was going to say earlier. So you helped me with the film's kind of political sub context. You know what I mean? Um, like the light going out in that one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had the idea to include the scene where the roads are backed up and the 911 lines aren't free. Um, so you were a huge part in coming up with the the idea to have some political stuff included with the horror film, which is very unique. So I'm
Oh,
excited,
thank you. I'm
especially
trying
for
to think
that.
about what I included now because I have short-term memory loss.
Oh yeah. No, you're all right. I thought that was super cool because I had the idea right off the rip with the sunglasses being like a phone in the movie where they talk on that, and then I said something about the 911 line being busy, and then you suggested adding more political stuff to it, and I just wanted to tell people that anyone listening, so they know that you did more than just act in the film. You actually
Oh, thank you.
yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's really cool, and it makes it even more unique. Like I said, when it's not just you're just an actor, so
Well, like I like to take a project and like I'm like very passionate about the project. Like if I'm gonna commit to a project, it's gonna be 110%. I'm not gonna give you just 100. I'm gonna take it a step further. And I'm like, I know some people think that's like me taking over the narrative or whatnot, but it's just like I know it's because I'm passionate about it, and it's like if you're passionate about something, you should
yeah,
commit 110%. That's just my opinion. You don't just half-ass it. And there are times where you should sit back, I do admit, but like there are also times where if you really do care about something, if you have a good idea, like just say it.
yeah,
So
yep.
that will help improve the film.
Yeah, yep. And I feel like that political stuff really did. It added a whole another layer to the film that already has a ton of
Yeah.
layers. So, you know, yeah, I
And you
definitely.
also didn't know about the lighting before, and I showed you the lighting. And now we got everything in sync, so it's going to look really cool.
Yeah, yep. And see, that's something that I've experimented with a little bit, but not in the ways that you showed me. So yeah, it was super cool to step out of that comfort zone to do that for the film too, which also leads into, I think, the last question. I just want to go over it real quick on here, make sure that we cover all the ground. Um,
Okay.
1 second here. I'm pretty sure we did. Do you feel like we're missing anything?
I don't have anything written, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. The only thing that I think that we have left to talk about, which it would have been a great segue if I wouldn't have double checked, but what was your experience with filming Knock?
um, it was just like a very like it was my first time getting into acting in 2 years.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
right.
more like 3 years now because it was before COVID. I haven't
You
acted
did
since
tell
then.
me that. I forgot all about that. You like haven't done acting in a long time.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't even
it's
consider that.
so it was very like nice to get back into it, and it reminds me of so much. Like it was getting back into a routine that wasn't forgotten, and it was kind of just, taking it to a different level in a different way, and it was fun doing it. The only thing that I had struggling with was just sitting. I know this is going to sound bad, but I was sitting down on a concrete floor for like the longest period of time, like just sitting there, and my legs were like cramping up, like literally, because I was sitting in an awkward
Yeah,
position. I think it
like
was
you're
more
abducted. That that type of you know.
yeah, that position, and I didn't
Yeah,
realize how that position is so like I didn't realize how exhausting that would actually be because I felt exhausted just sitting there and sitting in a certain position. And I would do angles in little tight spaces, so I had to
yeah,
sit a certain stage just to get myself into the picture, and that was a challenge. And I was just like sitting there. I was like, oh my god, I need to just get through this. And I'm not the type of person that does one take and runs. I like do like three takes that are going to be good and ready. I'm not going to do just one. So um, I was there for quite a while, and my legs were in pain so much. But like I was like I was just like pretending like it was something else. So, but I feel like it also went with the movie, So
yeah, yeah. Well, I didn't mean to make you have to endure too much pain, but
no, it was fine. Like I think for the rest of the filming for it, it'll be fine because now it's like I got all the long stuff out of the way. Now
yeah,
it's just the short stuff that I have
yep,
to do. And I think the last scene is not even me like sitting. I think it's me like elsewhere. So
yeah, yep,
trying to escape at that point. So,
yeah, definitely. I look
but it
forward
was
to
a fun
seeing.
experience, and this was also my first time doing the audio properly and the lighting properly as
Yeah,
well.
it
Like
was.
truthfully, not
It,
in a way that was just like one set. Like for comedy, you just do like it's one lighting and that's it for the most part.
yeah,
Whereas like
definitely.
this is like it's very three-dimensional, and we have to the lighting will drive the mood in that regard.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun coming up with different types of ways to light a scene. That was one of my favorite things
Yeah,
about doing it. So I am
yeah,
glad that
same
you
here.
talked me into
Yeah,
doing that. Yeah, I'm really excited to see the rest of your scenes and get it edited together and let the world see the film. I'm also very excited to hear your fourth album, Vertigo, which will be coming out in October. By the time people hear this, it'll be out. By the time people hear this, Knock will also be out, so go check out Knock as well as My Brain at 11:37 p.m. and possibly Monster at Home. This might be out before that one though. I'm not
okay.
sure. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to everyone seeing all the projects that everyone collectively is going to be releasing. Um, yeah, we kind of planned for them to come out in uh, kind of close contact to one another so we could like kind of boost
Yeah,
promotion with both projects. So yeah, hopefully that plan takes off and works well for the both of us. Um, I'm really looking forward to seeing the
yeah, me
projects
too.
go live.
Yeah, yeah, because I feel like it's just been like a long time. So I think it will all go as planned, and I think it's all turning out great. Truthfully,
Yeah, yeah, Knock is really, really good. Like I'm not gonna lie, usually when I'm editing a film, I'm not as whoa, this is good. But this one,
oh
I'm,
really?
yeah. I mean, and not that I hate it or anything ever, but like this is the first one that like I started editing and I was like, holy shit, this is like fucking really good. And it's been a long time since I've had that feeling. I mean, especially like with COVID, because I haven't been able to really
Yeah,
fulfill as much as I want to with a film. The last time I felt that was probably in 2020 with my second movie, Windfall. Honestly, I mean, there was aspects of Jared's last movie, Death My Darling, too, but not not nearly as many. This one
So
is
we upped it a level, is what you're saying. That's how you feel
yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'm very proud of it so far, and I'm really
That's
excited
really
for.
good.
Yeah, and the lighting definitely is one thing. On top of the audio, the whole layer of professionalism that we're really trying out, and I'm really looking forward to it.
And I think that will help make the work timeless too. Like I think people will go back to this work more and more. And I think we just have a good promotional campaign ahead of us for these projects. So
Yeah,
I think it will be noticed and recognized. I believe in that.
yeah, I do too. I think it definitely has potential to be a huge cult classic.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we've been trying to do with Jarrod's films for sure. Death My Darling, and now this is just make cult classics. Stuff like Donnie Darko that really is just outside of the lines and outside of the
I
box with
see.
the
Yeah.
narratives and has a life of its own. And
We love a cult classic.
yes, we do. All right. Well, I'm probably going to cut the podcast now. Are you happy with it?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good whenever you're good. I feel like we covered a lot of ground, so I
Yeah, I
think
do
I'm
too.
happy with it.